Welcome to Rant on Reels. I'm Michael Fooch.
And I'm wiping my eyes, Xavier Barnett.
Today on the podcast, we do deep dives into Jumanji, The Next Level, Black Christmas,
White Christmas.
And we are going to recast The Matrix.
Controversy.
Yes.
Incoming. Yes, my name's Xavier. If you guys don't remember that, my name Xavier is who I am. And I want you guys to give us some reviews on Instagram and iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and YouTube. Just give us some views, comment, like, subscribe. Okay? Not enough you guys are subscribing, and we need more and more. So start subscribing. Thank you.
I'm a little triggered this week, Xavier. How are you?
Why are you triggered?
I found out that they're going to remake Home Alone.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Like, I don't understand, Xavier. Okay, I don't understand. Why do you need to remake Home Alone? Why not just make another Home Alone movie? Like, what happened in the first Home Alone with the Why do you have to call him Kevin McAllister? Why can't you just have another family where they leave their child? Why does it have to be a remake? This movie does not need a remake. Or a reboot. Home Alone 3 has nothing to do with the McAllisters.
Yeah. Well, maybe they just want to get new kids, or
I'm fine with that. Just call it Home Alone 4.
Nostalgia train.
Home Alone 4, just different family. You cannot I know this is ironic because we are doing this. We have started recasting old movies, which is fun to do. But I just think let's leave it at the fun to do part. Let's not actually do it.
Yeah, well, Hollywood's way past you on that. And they ain't going to stop.
Are you okay with this?
Whatever. Do what you want. It's not. I'm gonna have to watch it, but I'm not the biggest I like Home Alone, but if it gets rebooted, I don't care.
You suck.
They're gonna reboot everything, so it's inevitable. Hollywood's not creative anymore.
Speaking of,
God forbid an original idea.
You're not wrong. It just upsets me.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
And, speaking of these unoriginal Hollywood, Ace Ventura 3?
Yeah.
Aren't we a little, 2 decades past the sequel for Ace Ventura 3?
Yeah, how old is Jim Carrey now? He's 55?
I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, that's 90s comedy. I don't think 90s comedy. Comedy shows, it's what Zoolander, the second one. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty decent, but, they had it's a different take. Comedy was different back then. What was funny back in the 90s was very different in the 2000s, which really changed in the 2010. That's why Will Ferrell's comedy his comedies aren't doing as well in the late 10s than as in the early 10s, right? So comedy evolves and it changes, right? So I don't know how that's gonna fly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been so long since another Ace the last one I think was 96. We're over 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're gonna do it, and then they're gonna be like, "Wow, why didn't this make money?"
Oh no. The best part is it'll ruin childhoods because the first two are good. The first one's amazing. The second one's good.
Yeah. Childhoods are meant to be ruined.
Any other
thing that I'm really excited for is I feel bad. I didn't care back then, but now I really want to see it. I want to see the Justice League Snyder cut, because apparently they refilmed a lot of it.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I don't.
Joss Whedon changed a lot of it, so I want to see what Zack Snyder would have done, just to see how bad it is or so. It's 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh my god! I have a question.
The original cut is 5 hours and 50 minutes.
That's how long
and he cut it down. He cut it down to 3:30.
I kind of want to. I say it angrily that I don't really care for it, but I'd want to see the 5 hours and 30 minutes of the original Snyder cut.
Wow,
I would.
Of course you would. You would want to see the 5 hour version.
But can I tell you something? I have seen a picture of Superman in a black outfit that is released from that Snyder cut, and I'm going to tell you this right now. That is not a good sign for the Snyder cut.
Well, it's based off of the comic books. Like when he was revived, when he died, he was in a black suit because it's like I want to say it's funeral related, or they just get like, oh, let's change up Superman a little bit in the comics or something like that.
Make him bad?
Not bad, but he goes back to his blue iconic look like literally 2 issues later. So it's not like permanent, you know. He's just like, oh, where, you know, when he died and he just doesn't know where the hell he is. He's like, what? Where am I? I lost my memories. What's going on here? Blah blah blah. These guys are attacking me, you know.
Do you think that it will be good?
I don't care if it's good or
No, do you think it will be good? I'm not.
Probably not. I just want to.
Do you think it will be better? Do you think it will be better than the Whedon version?
I think so.
There's no chance it could be better.
I don't know. The Whedon version was pretty freaking bad.
But what was bad about the Whedon version?
Everything. What was good?
Everything? It was better than Batman vs Superman. So I'm not gonna say everything.
I don't know.
You're trusting the guy who made Batman vs Superman over the guy who made the Avengers.
Yeah, he made the Avengers, but I feel like it wasn't him. It's more Kevin Feige. I find with Disney stuff and Star Wars, they put their hands in it a little bit more, and then with this one, they let the directors be a little bit more creative. And
you're not wrong. I'm not going to dispute you, but I want you to rethink of the Justice League, and I want you to think about Batman versus Superman for a second. Okay, are you thinking about it?
Yeah.
How dark was Batman versus Superman?
Pretty dark.
How dark was Justice League?
Pretty dark.
Not dark at all.
It was pretty dark.
I don't think it was that dark.
I don't know. They had the same tone. Superman.
No, I don't think it had the same tone.
And everything.
Superman really wasn't bad. He was bad for like 30 seconds.
Had the mustache scene, the infamous mustache. It was gonna be crap. Let's just say that they're both crap, and maybe Snyder might be. When I say better, it's probably maybe like a little bit better, not a lot, but it definitely could be worse.
Care to make a little friendly wager on air that it won't be better?
Friendly, okay, fine.
Let's just have friendly wager, like nothing on the line.
How can you? It's just gonna be based off opinion. So
you're right. You're right. I believe that you will not rate it higher than you would have rated Justice League.
Okay.
And I mean, there's no money, so there's no reason for you to say like, oh yeah, it's better just for the sake of it. You'll be honest about it.
Okay, fine.
Okay. I don't think
it's gonna release, but
I think it will. I will be released because now it's gonna be buzzed and they'll make some money.
Yeah.
Now you have nothing to lose. They've already made the movie.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm not excited at all. Is there any other news you want to talk about?
No.
All right, I want to get right into talking about the Mandalorian.
Yeah. Okay.
I got to be honest. Hot take here. Best episode yet.
No, I agree. I like this episode a lot. It's like I said, it's one of the better episodes. I never said that before, but when we were off here, I said that to you.
It is one of those episodes. So for those of you who have not watched this week's episode of Mandalorian,
spoilers.
He needs some money, so he goes to an old friend where he used to, I guess, do jobs, and he has to go break someone out of jail from a rebel prison ship. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't really trust anyone on the crew. They're kind of dicks.
Yeah, they all. Plus, some of them kind of knew him.
Well, one of them knew him. Because he was part of the.
And one's a droid, so he already doesn't trust droids, and the other ones are dicks.
Did we ever find out why he doesn't like droids?
I think no, haven't found out yet.
But I feel like we're going to in this show.
Eventually.
Yeah. Anyways, so basically they go onto this prison ship, and he kicks butt.
Yeah.
I think one of the best scenes in the show so far. So like they're being
suppressed.
They're being suppressed by this fire, and then we always see is like in this like corridor, and all we see is like the scene like shift from behind, and the Mandalorian Mando he just walks behind, and like the change in the music so touchy. It just comes from behind him and just takes him all out all on his own.
Yeah.
Such
they were about to help him with the guy Bill Burr. Oh, Bill Burr's in this as well.
Yeah, good cameo.
Pulls him, puts him in the back, and then he just lets him go. Bill Burr was great in this. Like, I loved his character. Like, not like as a person, but like he played a good role. It was pretty funny.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I agree with you. And when they do, I guess they get into the control room and there's a human in there, and Mando's not happy about this. He's promised no humans, but he's threatening to warn the rebels, and Mando's trying to get everyone to calm down.
You get 3 X-wings on you. That's what happens when that like thing that calls the rebels, right? It's like 3 X-wings.
Yeah, so you do not want that to happen.
Yeah.
So he's trying to calm everyone down, but nope, it doesn't happen, and the girl
gets murked.
Yeah, the girl kills him.
Murderer.
And then they go rescue the prisoner, and that doesn't go very well either.
Yeah.
Because Mando gets thrown into the cell.
Yeah, he gets double-crossed.
Yeah. Are you surprised by that?
When I saw him, I'm like, what? Wow. Then I'm like, oh, wait, these guys probably would do that. These scumbags.
Yeah, see, I agree with you, but here's the thing. The girl and the guy who was in prison, they know Mando.
Yeah.
Is this the kind of guy you want to piss off?
I guess maybe they thought they could get one on him.
And that's what they try to do.
But they left all his equipment. They probably should have. They did a quick switcheroo and.
But they have to do it quickly because they're not gonna take him 1-on-1.
Yeah. And he just found a way to get out like instantly.
Yes, he did. And then he basically goes back to the control room and goes to town on everyone.
Yeah.
Takes them out one by one. We think he kills them all, but he doesn't. Yeah. He throws them into a prison cell. And then he takes the prisoner back to where he's supposed to, collects his money, and the guy in charge orders him to be killed. Yeah. Except
he left a little present for Buddy.
And what was that present, Xavier?
It was the beacon that attracts the rebel force.
And as he leaves, those X-Wings come and destroy that base.
Yeah. Why are you going to hire someone and just be like, let's just betray him? It's not a good idea.
What I like is, like, at the end of when it's just Bill Burr's character and the prisoner tells him, I'll give you 3 times what you're being offered to go kill Mando. Would you take that?
What's it called? Probably not, because he doesn't seem like he has that money.
But not even that. Like, what Mando? You just put Mando in jail. He escaped in less than like a minute. Yeah. Is this the guy you want to go after? This is where I'm like, hey Mando, I apologize. Take all my guns. Just leave me alone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you've seen him in action. You've seen him take out all those droids when you were pinned down.
Yeah. And he didn't even help him.
Yeah. Exactly. So where do you think we go from here? Because the next episode has now been moved up. It's apparently going to connect with the movie.
Oh, it wasn't moved up. It was always going to be released on the Wednesday.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. So it's going to be something to do with the movie. Maybe he finally makes Yoda go, or Baby Yoda go with somebody that's part of the new rebellion and something like that, or
so you think
maybe you might see like the first instance of the Resistance being built.
I don't know.
Not the Resistance, the First Empire, whatever the freaking they're called. I forget their name.
See, it's still like
Snoke's people.
It's 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so we're still like 20 years away, or 30 years away from whatchamacallit, the next Force Awakens. The only thing I can think of is if the Emperor is in it.
It's either the Emperor or, like I said, first thing of the 501st Legion, or whatever those guys were called. The people that Snoke controlled.
But why would they be important? They're all dead. Didn't they all die in Last Jedi?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
So like, I mean, I feel like if it's
well, no, what's his face is in charge of them now.
Kylo.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know if they're.
Who knows? We'll see in less than a week now.
It's true. It's a couple days
excited.
Left. But are you excited for Rise of Skywalker?
No.
You know why I'm kind of a little excited?
Because of this show, but like it
gives
you false hope.
That the show is a big part of it, but it's something J.J. Abrams said.
What?
He basically said he wants to forget about Last Jedi. And when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, okay, you got my attention.
Yeah.
Does that mean Luke's no longer a Force ghost?
No, you can't really, like, it's going to be so hard to explain all that crap. Like,
well, you don't have to. Technically, he just disappeared. Maybe he teleported.
Yeah, okay.
Wouldn't that
be so stupid?
It would be great if the movie started with just, like, Luke arriving on the Millennium Falcon. Hi, guys, I just teleported here.
It's not happening. Sorry to burst your bubble, but there's no saving. Like, there's no ends that J.J. Abrams can really pick up. It's pretty. Ryan Johnson really screwed JJ
He screwed Star Wars. Forget JJ. Anyways, anything else you want to talk about The Mandalorian?
No, that's good.
All right, shall we get into this week?
Yeah.
All right, let's start by going into Jumanji, the next level. Xavier, what are your opening thoughts?
I think this is. I didn't expect this movie to be so funny. I didn't think this would be. I'm not gonna lie, hot take. This is better than Into the Jungle or whatever.
Welcome to the Jungle. Come on, Guns N' Roses song should be easy.
Welcome to the Jungle, whatever. Sure. But yeah, I didn't think that. I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna. When I heard there was a sequel as well, I didn't think. I'm like, how are they gonna top that? Like, there's no way they can do that. And they found a way by introducing two older gentlemen. By the names of Danny DeVito and Danny Glover.
The two Dannys.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that. But yeah, and then Kevin Hart and The Rock just showing a little bit of range, just Kevin Hart.
Jack Black, don't forget Jack Black in there
too. Forgot they're all great, like Jack Black really stole the show for me in Welcome to the Jungle. He was great in The Next Level, but. Kevin Hart when he was playing Danny Glover, I just could not stop laughing in that voice he was making. Hey, what in the Sam hell is going on here? Like I just talking like that the whole time. I just could not stop laughing. He'd be like, "Well, that's an ostrich," like stuff like that. And he just explained it slow,
like an old man would though.
Right?
Like
it was just so perfect. And then Jack Black freaking out. I was like, this guy doesn't know what's going on here. But he has such a high voice. It's great. Great acting. Great. It was good. A little bit. I'm not the biggest on the little bit. Just one part of the ending, but it's not a big deal. It's more like me personally. It's a nitpick, so it's no big deal to me. It doesn't deter from the movie at all. But great experience all around.
I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Thoroughly. This is as good of a sequel that you can make. As for is it better than the first? If it's not better, it's definitely on par. It's still. I think it's too early to make that judgment, right?
We just saw Jumanji.
It's. I'm talking about like the Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay.
If it's not better, it's close. That's all I can say. Yeah. It's on par. It has the. For me, it starts and ends with the cast. Xavier talked about the Dannys, Glover, and DeVito. They were phenomenal. They talked about all of the players. Phenomenal. Kevin Hart, Jack Black, The Rock, and Karen Gillan. I mean, we could talk a lot about them, the three guys you talked about. But Karen Gillan, what a year.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I thought, if you asked me in the first Guardians of the Galaxy Nebula, meh. Yeah. But after Endgame, like,
you're more interested in the character.
Way more interested. And she was a badass in Guardians. She was a badass in the first Jumanji. She took it to another level in this film. Yeah. She was great. Jack Black and Kevin Hart and The Rock, they had to do double duty because they had to play two different kind of roles in the movie because they had two different avatars that they were playing with. So they were great. Awkwafina and Joe Jonas both did great jobs as well. I'm surprised you didn't comment on your boy Ray's Darby, who returns as Nigel.
Yeah, Ray's Darby was great, but I didn't hear enough from him. I wish that's another little bit nitpicky. I can always hear more Ray's Darby.
Yeah, but he did his job. He literally his job was to introduce it and then to come at the end.
Yeah, it's just his voice is so great for things. Like he has one of the most. I guess you know what? It's iconic. It's
great. It's great because they're talking to him and he just answers like he's not even.
He's the same way, So glad I saw him this year at Toronto Film Festival.
The Hound as the villain, I thought he did a good job.
So was the Hound.
Yeah. This movie, if I had to describe this movie in like 4 words, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. That is great. It's fun to watch.
It's just fun. And I really think that that's one thing that we miss in a lot of movies. We don't have a lot of fun with them anymore. Mm-hmm. So I really did. the one thing I did dislike about it, and this is a nitpick, I understand, but it's a personal opinion. This movie does what typical sequels do. After bringing lovers together in the first movie, they start the movie with having them broken up or a huge issue, and they start with they're on a break. And I just look. It's not completely detrimental to the story. It works. It's as good as it possibly could have been, but it's still just it's a cheap ploy, I find.
Do you think it's cheap because it's happened so much?
It's just typical. Think of how many sequels it does happen to.
Fair enough.
Anyway. Okay. So you ready to deep dive into this?
Yeah, let's go.
Alrighty. So I guess this movie begins about a year after the last one ended.
Yeah.
And all of the old characters, they are now in universities. Mm-hmm. They are apart. Spencer's in New York. Fridge is on a football scholarship. Bethany's in Central America doing nice
humanitarian
activist
things.
humanitarian things.
You're gonna say nice things.
Nice things. She's doing nice things for people, seeing the world.
This happens.
And Martha's living up at university. Mm-hmm. So they communicate through a group text, and we think everything's kind of good, except for things don't seem to be going great for Spencer. He's on his way home for the holidays from university. He gets poured on. His luggage gets broken. He's creeping up on Martha. And when he gets home, we find out that they've broken up, but we don't know why. At home, his grandfather's staying with him in his room because he had hip surgery. Danny DeVito is his grandfather. And, what are your thoughts on how Spencer's story begins?
Well, they need a reason for him to kind of restart the game again, right? So I think this is the best excuse as any, unless the only other version I can think of right now off the top of my head is some crazy terrorist knows what Jumanji is, and he puts a gun to his head and be like, "You restart this game because we can make money off it." Excuse me, didn't mean to do that, but I like the opening.
And that's why I don't hate the breaking them up a little bit, because it's as good as you can be. Because, like you said, there needs to be a reason to go back to Jumanji. Why would you knowingly go back?
Yeah, and they didn't plan for the sequel as well, right? They didn't think this Jumanji was going to make as much money and be as popular as it was.
You're absolutely correct.
Because they broke the game at the end. And one of the things they do mention is, I don't know if you were there when you were listening to the pre-show, but one of the things is, it was really hard to kind of figure out a way to kind of get them back in the game because they did break it at the end. So.
See, I think there was an easy way to get around that, though. And I was actually surprised they didn't. I guess I know why they chose not to do it, but and actually it worked out better that they chose not to do it. But the game should be able to fix itself. Oh. It's a magic game. Man, in the first movie, the game changed from a board into a video game.
Yeah.
It's clearly got magical powers. We shouldn't be able to understand why it does what it does.
Okay.
But it works out that way because, as we're going to find out, when everyone gets pulled into the game, they're not they don't choose their characters. Yeah. So it actually works out as a strong advantage in the movie for them to do this. But I agree with you. They need a reason to get in this game and to make Spencer feel insecure. And in a lot of ways, it makes sense that someone would feel like it would feel insecure. You're off by yourself in university. You're seen, and again, we've talked about this on this podcast before. What social media does? Everyone's living this great life, but as we find out later in the film, she's only strong because she thinks of him. Yeah. But nobody communicates anymore because everyone just sees everyone's amazing life on social media because nobody posts negative things on social media.
No one's real on social media. I get that. That's why I deleted it.
Oh, yeah. You're still off that, aren't you?
2 months clean of social media.
Power to you, buddy.
Oh,
Power to you.
I punched the mic because I was upset.
So, I again, I guess that makes sense for him to go back. And Bravestone was the best he's ever felt, right?
Yeah.
This
big, tall, pretty much The Rock, right? I'd be happy
with no weaknesses, right? Remember when they did their game weaknesses? He has no weaknesses. All of these strengths. He's he can beat people up. It's a great confidence booster. So it makes him feel confidence, and I think that's important. What were your impressions on the grandfather, Danny DeVito?
He was great.
Eddie.
Great introduction.
Typical.
You can tell he's typical. Kind of a little bit of a hard head and has a little bit of bitterness about him.
Yep. And we're going to find out the reason is his business partner pushed him out.
Yeah, pushed him to retire.
He hates getting help. He hates growing old. He wants to do everything himself. He's still young at heart, right? Yeah. And it's interesting because when he gets into the we'll talk about that when we get there. So you're okay with the reason they go back into the game?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. Yes.
It's weak, but like we were going to continue to say, they didn't plan for a sequel, and it's hard to come up with it. So you gotta find a way. And I've actually thought about this since we saw this movie on Thursday. So it's been like 4 days now. I can't think of a better reason. So I'm cool with it. Now Spencer was supposed to meet his friends for breakfast. However, he doesn't show. And as the friends get together, we see that they're unified, and I guess that makes sense after an experience like that you would be unified. They ask Martha what's going on with the two of them, and who did you think broke up that relationship?
I thought Martha did.
I thought for sure it was Martha.
Yeah, but it was.
But we're gonna find out.
I'm glad the twist. The twist was good.
It was, and actually, but it makes more sense.
It makes more sense.
And again, it makes even more sense because why he would go into the game. He broke up with her because of how insecure he was.
Yeah,
that would make perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide to go to Spencer's house, but before they get there, Eddie's old business partner Milo arrives, and they have problems.
Eggs and they're not. We don't know what the problem is yet. They're still. Like, they're just talking about it. It's very glossed over, but you can tell there's animosity towards him.
And the three friends, they come in, they look for him, and they see the Jumanji game that's being opened up. And they said, okay, we're going to go back in. But before they can pick their characters, the game sucks them all in, except for Bethany.
Yeah.
And the big twist in this film, and which is why, again, I like the idea of the game not fixing itself, is that when they arrive, they're not, because they didn't choose their characters, they are in different bodies. So Fridge is now Jack Black's character, Shelley. Mm-hmm. Martha is still Ruby. Milo is Mouse, oh my God, what's his face?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, thank you, character. And and Grandpa Eddie is Bravestone. Mm-hmm. What do you think of? I love this decision, by the way. I think this is absolutely brilliant, and again, it lets us see these actors play a different kind of role, which makes it even funnier. So I love the decision to change it. What did you think of it?
What do you think I thought of it?
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah,
the character interactions when they get there
is the best. Like, I think me and you were just laughing.
I just thought Fridge is like, I'm a worse character now than I was. I couldn't have gotten worse. At least last time I was black.
And then just Kevin Hart just talking in his voice, and then The Rock doing a Danny video impression, like, huh? Who? What's going on here?
I know, and it's so funny. Like I was gonna say when we were talking about Danny DeVito, having that Eddie character as Bravestone. Like Bravestone's supposed to be like this noble character, which is why Spencer playing him works.
Yeah.
But Eddie is going to play him as like more selfish, more aggressive, and it works for the story, but it doesn't work for the character. So seeing how like this supposedly the good character is kind of being more bad.
Yeah, like it does happen, right? I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of good characters that should be good morally that I play in video games, and I make them do bad things because I'm the real villain.
Exactly, right? And I feel like that's the grandpa, right? Yeah. And that's why it adds this great level to it. And they're like, you see, like we'll use their character name. So like Ruby and Shelley. They are trying to get these new characters that you don't even realize they're a video game. What's a video game?
Yeah, like, what's going on here? Like, are we dead? Oh, yeah. I think we died. Like,
and
that's pretty much Kevin Hart kept saying.
Yeah, and Mouse keeps talking this really slow pitch, as Xavier says.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It takes him forever to get words out.
Yeah.
And that's going to be detrimental because in a lot of ways, every character in Jumanji is important to use. Yeah. So it's important that you get into your right character.
Right, yeah. And these guys don't play video games. You can't expect them to.
No, and Bravestone obviously is the muscle.
Yeah. And he's fighting everybody and getting everybody killed. He's too much muscle.
Yeah, too much. we see Shelly give this speech about how you could die at any point, and like he saves
Mouse
he
from
saves
the
Mouse from being eaten by the hippo, which is how Shelly died the first time.
Yeah.
And then as he's giving this speech, a snake comes and bites him and kills him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like,
I saw that coming.
Yeah. It's like the classic sign from Deep Blue Sea where Samuel L. Jackson's
That's
getting that big
we're gonna get out of here. The shark just jumps up and grabs him.
and kills
Yeah.
him.
So the game's starting, and everyone expects the same kind of game as last time. But Nigel arrives this time, but instead of being in his
buggy,
the buggy, he arrives in an airplane. He's the Ruby and Shelly are like, what's going on? Like this is different from last time.
Yeah.
And Nigel's explaining, and there's this cutscene, and Bravestone and Mouse are like, what the hell's going on? What's a cutscene? And they're trying to explain what it is. It's like, we'll just tell you after.
Yeah, just watch.
What did you think of the decision to have a different story this time?
Just great, because the game evolves, right? It's like you said, it's magic. It's changing how it plays, right? So each time you try to destroy it, it just gets stronger.
I couldn't agree more with everything with what you said. What did you think of Nigel in this movie?
Nigel's great, like you said. He could just read instructions on how to make an IKEA furniture and it'd be great. So like, no matter what he does, it's great.
So after the cutscene, they get thrown out of the airplane. And the cutscene, it's an interesting mission, right? It's the villain arrives to Jumanji, Jurgen the Brute. And just by the name, you know it's just going to be one of those fun movies.
Yeah.
Jurgen the Brute is the name of your villain. It just sums up the entire film. He steals a jewel that's supposed to help with the harvest and the nature. He kills Bravestone's parents.
Yeah, he's the one that killed Bravestone's parents.
Finds the jewel. The mission is to find the jewel and save Jumanji.
Yeah, and give it back.
What do you think of this mission?
Put it into the sun, and then good mission, fun mission. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Typical video game.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't really understand the whole killing Bravestone's parents aspect. They really don't develop it, but I'm not going to nitpick at that.
Yeah. It's just kind of, I think it's just to poke fun at video games because usually the main guy has a bigger connection. Or maybe just movies in general. Like, the main guy has a bigger connection than, like, what you think,
It's true.
I think it's just more like a satire on that.
It's really funny. Like, the entire cutscene, I laughed. From the moment they get into Jumanji to the moment they leave Jumanji, I don't think I stopped laughing.
Yeah, no, it was great. Great scenes all together.
When they get dropped out of the airplane, they land in the middle of the desert. And I really got an Uncharted vibe from, like, this entire sequence.
Yeah.
Because, that's what he jumps out of an airplane. Jumps out of an airplane, walking in the desert.
Yeah.
Anyway, these ostriches come. And Grandpa Eddie, or Bravestone, he provokes an ostrich. And before that mouse can explain, because he's talking so slow about all these ostrich things, the ostrich attacks and kills Bravestone. Yeah. Life number 1 for him losing. Then we have this ostrich chase scene where they get into these buggies and they try to outrun the ostriches, and they have to jump over the little canyon. Did you like the sequence?
Oh, it was great.
It was good. It was fun action.
Funny and shit thing. Lots of little jokes going on around there.
Funny ending. Like, great. I have no complaints with it.
Yeah.
So after this, they check all of their strengths and weaknesses, and there were some changes from last time. Mm-hmm. So, for example, Bravestone now has a weakness. It's a switchblade, or at least that's what we think it is. Mm-hmm. Ruby has some new strengths. She's good with nunchucks.
Yeah. And fight dancing or something.
Yeah. Shelly has a new weakness. Her new weaknesses are the sun, heat, and sand. To go with his old weakness of endurance.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
No, he just goes
on
about how bad the character.
All my weaknesses are right here.
He's like, how's this guy a character in the game?
But he has a new strength. Geometry.
Yeah.
What do you need geometry for?
Like, this character sucks. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of characters, and that's another thing. Like, there's a lot of characters in video games when you play it, and like, this guy sucks. Who would use him? So like a fighting game or anything like that, right?
I can think of a bunch from Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, right. Like, who uses
Jigglypuff?
Jigglypuff. Oh my god. Yeah, Jigglypuff sucked.
Ness.
Oh my goodness.
Probably got a lot of hate mail because I feel like Ness is a popular character too.
Ness is a good well, if you know how to use him, you know how to use him. Same with Jigglypuff, but no, not a lot of pros.
So you enjoy the checking the weaknesses.
Oh, that was great.
And again, the old men are like, "What's a weakness? How does that work?" I loved it. I just liked how everyone, and as we're gonna find, everyone's required to win because that little geometry thing, that character is important.
Yeah.
So they get to this oasis, and when they get there, they meet Jorgen the Brute, who has some funny sequences.
Yeah.
He loves to just like feed his old people to
his hounds,
hyenas.
Yeah. Why did he kill the guy again?
Because apparently he was stealing from him.
Oh yeah.
So he feeds them to the hyenas.
Nah, I feed him to his own dogs and stuff like that.
So he gets robbed by Ming, or at least we're going to find out is Ming. And when Jurgen's like, "Someone stole from me," Bravestone grabs him.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't understand he's the villain. And we find out that Ming is actually Spencer, who's been trying to get out of the game.
Yeah.
Jurgen ends up leaving, and the characters split up. Ming, Mouse and Bravestone, they go to find camels, while Ruby and Shelly, they go to find the Jumanji fruit that is needed.
Yeah.
So, do you when they split up, whatchamacallit, as Ming and Mouse are talking to the camels, because that's one of Mouse's new things. He can talk to animals.
Yeah.
Bravestone goes and punches out the entire town.
Yeah.
Was this too much?
I thought it was pretty funny.
It was why did you think it was great?
No, I thought it was great, and I think it's necessary because it's kind of drive the point home that Danny's character is bitter, and he's lashing out his anger on anything, right? And now he's as powerful as he used to be. He's never been that powerful, but like now he feels it's kind of like the same high, I say in quotations, that Spencer got, but for different reasons, right? And not for the right reasons.
It also drives home the plot that he can't be Bravestone because he doesn't know how to use Bravestone. That's not his character. Mm-hmm. He's not the guy that's going to go punch someone out. He's the guy that uses his strength when needed.
Yeah,
the more kind of moral character. I liked it. I liked it again for all the reasons you did. And while that's going on, Ruby and Shelly get to this tree where there's one Jumanji fruit left. And Ruby gets to the tree, but she falls into the water that's kind of like greeny.
Yeah, I thought it killed her.
Yeah,
to kill her.
I thought so too, because she hadn't lost a life at that point.
Yeah. Same, right?
So she gets out of the water and she touches Shelly, and they're like they got like electrocuted and thrown away, and they switch bodies. And here Karen Gillan gets to be a man for a change, and like again Jack Black, and has to be. It's like. Oh, what's going on?
And he's just all he's like, "Yo, sweet man, this is awesome." Talking like Fridge and everything.
Oh, so good. And Fridge gets cocky and uses the Ruby character to fall back into the water, and they switch back.
Cocky and then accidentally switches back.
So you like this scene?
Oh, it's a great scene.
Now, why did you think that they put this in the movie?
Oh, because, at the time, I didn't take that in.
Really?
Switch in the future.
I thought clear as day.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Clear as day that this is the scene to kind of show that you can switch your avatar, and it would arrive later on that you would need to use it.
Nice pickup.
But it also is great for humor, too.
Yeah, great humor element as well.
So as they leave the oasis, the mob is chasing them out, and it's led by Switchblade. So Switchblade is not an actual weapon, but a person that is the weakness of Bravestone. They think they've escaped, but a bazooka kills them all. Did you think they were trying to get to lose lives very quickly in this film?
Yeah, I feel like they left lives like real quick. It's not like just a little bit of a nitpick, I guess, for me. But
see, I think that the point of the story was not about lives. Like in the first movie, like lives were important, but I think they wanted to get let's get them down to one life quickly because we don't want this movie to be about let me protect lives because like in the first movie, right? That was a much bigger theme in the movie.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas in this movie, I don't think they wanted to make it a theme, so they just whatever.
Okay, well, I didn't see
That's
it
how
that
I felt.
way.
So after this walking montage where Milo and Eddie kind of work out their differences, and Eddie kills Milo again to knock another life out of him. They arrive at this revolving bridges, in which they need geometry to help them. Shelly's not completely useless.
I know.
The mandrills attack them in the process. Did you like this sequence?
Yeah, it was a great sequence. It was fun as well, and then kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I learned something new. I thought those were bamboos, but they're mandrills.
It's Shelly's moment, right? Geometry sequence. I didn't love this scene, I'll be honest. Of every scene in this movie, it's probably the one I like the least, and I'll tell you why. Because some characters did things without the help of the geometry, right? Like Ruby and Bravestone, they just did their own thing.
Yeah, well, the geometry helps, but like Ruby, we saw how far Ruby can jump and everything like that, right? So, do they really?
I guess
geometry?
that's true a little bit. But I will also say this: the one thing I didn't really love about it is at the end they get across the bridge, they're still surrounded by monkeys or mandrills.
Yeah,
like they would have still been killed if it wasn't for the two other friends, which we'll talk about in a second, that saved them, right? So I feel like as soon as they crossed the bridge, it should have been like they were saved from the mandrill.
No, I thought that was weird too.
That's kind of the reason I didn't love it. And I get it. I'm not. It's a huge nitpick. It's not gonna change the way I look at the movie. It's still a very funny scene, but I didn't love this scene as much as like the ostrich scene because this scene had the fun, but it didn't work with the plot. Whereas the ostrich scene did both.
Okay.
But anyways, they are saved by Alex and Bethany, who is a horse. So Alex, well, I guess I should talk about Bethany. When Bethany does not come back into the game, she goes to Alex, who they saved in the first movie, and said, "I need help." So Alex goes with her. We see that he's named his daughter Bethany too.
Yeah.
And they come back into the game, and he retakes his role as Seaplane.
Seaplane.
So and Bethany is now the horse, and she can't talk except for to Milo or Mouse. Yeah. So I guess the question becomes, how do they get there?
I guess they...
Like, they would have to go through everything, wouldn't they? Or do they just start there?
Maybe they just start because they're joining. Like, new player joined and...
See, I feel like that's it. So I feel like that makes sense, right? They just join where everyone else comes.
Yeah.
That would make it...
Like, some games you can join in right when then and there.
The only problem with that, because I'm just thinking about this now, is then why wouldn't the four of them when they join the game be wherever Ming was?
Maybe because you have to be wherever Bravestone is.
Maybe that's
the main character.
Yeah, maybe. That makes sense. I'm okay with that. It's nitpicking anyway, right?
Yeah,
like I feel it's
a big deal.
It's
like,
not.
Yeah. But you make a good point.
So the heroes find a river like the one around the tree, and they decide to jump in, and they switch to their ideal grouping. Now, do you agree with this move?
Oh, yeah, of course. We talked about it all day. That the characters couldn't play.
Milo was talking way too slow to be Mouse.
Yeah.
And Eddie was not noble enough to be Bravestone. And Bethany's a smart character. They need to use her.
Yeah.
And she made Shelly. She will be a better Shelly, right?
Yeah.
And everyone but Alex and Ruby go into the thing, and they all switch into the character. So, Bravestone is back to being Spencer. Bethany becomes Shelly. Fridge becomes Mouse, and the adults become the kind of not important characters. Milo becomes Ming, and
Milo becomes the horse.
Sorry, the horse, and Eddie becomes Ming, which makes sense because that's more of the shady kind of character.
Shady.
Not that he's shady, but
like I know what she.
So that takes us to our climax. So they get Eddie and Milo get captured.
Yeah.
The horse and Ming get captured, and they get taken to this fortress on a hill or on a mountain. Sorry.
Yeah.
So the fortress is on this huge mountain,
Heavily
and
guarded.
they split up.
Yeah.
Bravestone and Ruby climb the ice wall to danger, to free Ming, and then the other three they pretend to sneak in. The Shelly and Mouse get kind of stopped at the door, and they pretend to be brothers that are going to be buying the necklace that they need to take. And Alex then goes to save the horse Cyclone. Did you like how the two groups split?
I always thought, well, I didn't like I agree they had to split, but I'm like, oh, you put the two strong characters together and the two weak ones by themselves.
At first, I was with you, and I think I said that when we were watching the movie. But then I actually saw the plan in action, and there's no one else that could have climbed that ice wall with Greystone and Ruby.
Yeah,
so it's more of a necessity kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I was fine with it when I saw the plan in action. Alex saving the horse, Seaplane saving the horse. Was that a good scene?
No.
But I think this is why I think that they wanted to get rid of the lives as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah.
They had him lose the lives twice and only to succeed the third time. It's like they didn't want any tension with lives. Like, was there any point in this movie where you're worried that someone was actually going to die?
No.
I didn't think that either in this film, which is why I have no problem with how they used lives. So while all that's going on, the brothers have this conversation with Jorgen the Brute about how they're going to get this necklace, and apparently they were promised to marry their sister.
Yeah.
Who Ruby shows up and says that I'm the sister. Mm-hmm. And she's just about to get the necklace when they get this letter that
he's a fake.
That the brothers are stuck in another city.
Yeah.
And we have this fight sequence. Which part of this fight sequence did you enjoy the most? Up until the point where they get into the Zeppelin.
I think more just them fighting with the fire. Like, I'm going to burn you. I swear I'll burn you.
I like that scene. My favorite scene is actually before the fight scene. When they're going to offer them cake, and Mouse sees the cake because that's his weakness. He just throws it on the ground.
Yeah, that was great.
But Jurgen, as they're fighting, sees the Jumanji fruit. Is like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Tell the brothers I'll meet them in the city that they're in. And he goes to run to the Zeppelin, and Bravestone follows him, and they fight in the Zeppelin. And when Bravestone hits his shoulder, he finds out that Jurgen the Brute's weakness is the Jumanji fruit. Yeah. So he used it to paralyze him, I guess.
Yeah,
and pretty much throws him out of the Zeppelin.
Yeah, takes the thing.
And if we find out that the horse Cyclone can fly, that's one of his strengths. Yeah. So he flies the necklace to the. He's a Pegasus character. He flies the necklace to the sun, and Grandpa Eddie eventually says Jumanji, and they win. And then we see Nigel, and he thanks Bravestone for once again saving Jumanji. Now, I know. Did you like this climax scene? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was.
It was great.
It was great.
Typical video game, over the top, fun.
Yeah.
Never could happen in real life, but it's a video game, so it's fun. Now, I know that you didn't like a scene after this, before they go back to the real world. Would you like to explain to our audience what you did not like?
Yeah, so after that, Milo decides that he wants to stay in the video game to look after it. And they did set it up because he's died and he wants to live forever, so he wants to live forever in the video game as a horse. And he's like, I just learned to fly. I'm 75 years old, I just learned to fly. That was his line or something like that. Or 85, whatever. He's 80 years old. I just didn't like it because I'm like, oh, okay, so he's just going to stay in the...
See, and that's where I disagree with you. Like, I'm absolutely fine with it. Like, honestly, I mean... I would, if I was Bravestone, I don't know if I'd want to leave the video game either.
I don't know. Be the same thing. You're doing the same thing over and over in a video game. It's like saying you want to play Kingdom Hearts, be a character in Kingdom Hearts for the rest of your life. But
as we've talked about, the video game keeps evolving.
Yeah, but I think it's because they broke it. And that's
maybe.
why.
Maybe.
Yeah, outside sources have to happen.
I guess. I don't know. There's something to be said about it. I don't know. It'd be tough. I can understand where he's coming from because he's gonna die in the real world soon anyway. So I know you don't really like it, but I have no issue.
Yeah.
So as they leave the video game, Eddie learns how to play video games from his grandson. Martha and Spencer are back together. Eddie just starts working at the old diner that he sold as a kind of a manager. And they're all celebrating at this diner. Meanwhile, back at Spencer's house, the heater guy comes in and he sees the video game and touches it. And we see the ostriches running.
Run down the street.
Yeah. Did you enjoy this part of it?
I mean, there's gonna be a sequel now with them. I don't know how they're gonna do the sequel if they're playing with them.
Which is my next question. What do you think they're gonna do? Do you think the characters come out of the video games too?
Oh, that'd be awesome if they come out of the video games.
And then they can be themselves or like how they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Or do they have to go? Like I don't know. Like it'd be so interesting to see what they would do with that. There's options. Mm-hmm. Do you like where they're going with this?
I didn't like it until we just started talking about it, and that made sense. So, thank you.
I know they had back-to-back. They planned a trilogy for it. This one. It's like more Back to the Future, where like what we talked about last week, where the first one came out, they had no plans for a sequel, so they did something stupid, and they wrote the next two movies and back to back.
Okay.
So I feel like that's what they did here. Which game character would you want to be if you were in the video game? Okay, other than Bravestone, because obviously that's going to be your first choice, everyone's first choice.
Actually, what's her face is pretty good.
Ruby? That's why I'd be.
Ruby or Ming?
I'd be Ruby. She kicks.
Ruby's pretty much female Bravestone, so pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. But
so the C doesn't count. No Bravestone, no Ruby, because that's the 1 and 2.
Well, then it would be Mouse.
Yeah, you'd be Mouse. I'd probably do Ming.
Ming? Ming. I'm not a big fan of Ming.
Lock picking and everything.
So I guess my last question really that I have for you is this movie only has a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes. Why don't people enjoy a good, fun movie anymore?
Because everybody's depressed and wants to be depressed. Wants to see people get killed.
Like I don't get it. Like this movie's a lot of fun, isn't it? Are we missing something? Like we've talked about this movie for about just over half an hour now.
Yeah.
Isn't this movie fun?
I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I love dark movies, and I love being depressed, but I also like being happy.
I agree. I think people missed the boat on this film if they give it a bad rating. And if you're complaining because it's too much like the first one, it's a video game. What do you expect? It's like, is Kingdom Hearts different from the second Kingdom Hearts? Is Mario different than Mario 2? Like, it's the same. It's a video game. Like, what do you expect? Do you expect them to make the video game in like
Iceland?
Do you want them to have different characters next time so you don't have the same actors come back? I mean, they can do that next time when they have like different people in the real world, right? I don't know. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's good. I think, but what I want to do is give this movie. It's gonna get a 9 out of 10 from me.
I'm going 9.5 out of 10. It's solid in every way. Again, if the only reason I'm probably not giving it a 10 is because I'm nitpicking. This easily could probably be a 10. If you ask me again in a year, I feel like I could give this movie a 10 out of 10. Like it's solid. But again, I have to watch it again to make sure that the humor is still funny.
Yeah, I think the humor would still hold.
I think it would too. I think you're right.
It's not something we usually see. Hasn't been done before.
Okay. All right. Shall we talk about our next movie?
Yeah. Well,
Black Christmas. Xavier, what are your opening thoughts?
My opening thoughts is, why was this movie made? The thing about this is my problem with this movie. I'm going to use terms that are used online. That's not very well known. It's like incels. This movie's like an incels movie versus feminazis. That's the term I'm gonna go. Hot take, right? It's just like the reasoning for why the guys do things is stupid. All this movie will do, in my opinion, like I don't even think it's like a good movie. It's just gonna further divide men and women. It doesn't do anything to bring unity. Like, it doesn't explain, it's like, no, men have to be this way. And even if you are a good man, who cares? Just because you don't tell me that not all men are this way, it has to be this. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's a crap movie, and it's not even because of that. Like, even the plot wise, it's a crappy movie. But then they beat you over the head with its political stance, which just makes it even worse. So that's all I have to say.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's so divisive. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I wanted to leave the theater. It was that bad. This movie is exactly what's wrong with the world today. It just wants to divide men and women. I don't get why. I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense. We're similar in so many ways. In fact, all I've learned from this movie is that men are the root of all evil. In fact, we get a scene where the one man one of the two men that was actually portrayed decently for a part of the film says that, like, what your song was about, like, all men are rapists, offended me. And they're like, you can't be offended by that. I'm like, wait, what? You just said I'm a rapist. And, like, she didn't even deny it.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. The whole movie is about whether you can trust a man. And the spoiler alert, guys, you can't. That's what we learned from the movie. Let's deep dive into it. It starts with the MKE sorority. We have really two kind of main characters in this sorority, Riley, and she's struggling to move on after being raped by a frat guy 3 years earlier, in which nobody believed her, except for her sorority sisters. We have Chris, who is an activist. She got a sculpture of the university founder removed because the founder of the university was a misogynist and a racist. What are your thoughts on removing the sculpture of the bust of the founder of the university?
I mean, why don't you even go to the school? Why not get the school renamed? To be honest, if you're gonna get if you know that about the school, the thing is, and my problem with another thing with the movie is, like, I don't know if it handled the situation. Like, it's such a touchy subject, like frat rape culture, like in college, right? It's such a touchy subject. I don't know if it's gonna do justice for it as well.
You especially making it into a slasher film.
Yeah. Like, I think, like, because that's a real issue that is, like, pretty prominent in the...
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no doubt that behavior exists.
Yeah.
And I'm not defending anyone in any side. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that there are men that rape women.
Yeah, total
that
scumbags.
Are absolutely 100%. Yeah. And they get away with it because, for some reason, society doesn't want to believe them. And again, not justifying any of that, but to lump all people in one category
is I don't think that's
where
the
the
best
problems
way to
arise.
solve it. Yeah, that's not
because you want to get everyone on your side on an issue, right? Yeah. You know,
that's why guys like Martin Luther King.
Bring everyone on. It's kind of the difference between, like, Martin Luther King, how he approached it, and the Black Panthers did, right? Black Panthers, only black people can join our cause.
Yeah.
Whereas Martin Luther King, no. The way that we're going to make a better planet is if we have whites and blacks marching beside each other. Listen to his I Have a Dream speech. He didn't have a dream that black people can live by themselves in great culture. The sons of white slave owners with the sons of slaves sitting next together on a patio. That's how we envision society. Not one on one side of the tracks, one on the other side of the tracks.
And never interacting.
Like, that's the whole point of the message of these activists, these great activists that we talk about today. So, I didn't like it.
You just gotta spread love, baby.
Yeah, no, it's true. And now she's trying to get rid of her English professor because he doesn't include women on the syllabus.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna sound real dumb. What's a syllabus?
Syllabus is like the course outline.
Okay.
That's what a syllabus is. Just a fancy name for it.
All right.
So that takes us to a talent show. And the male frat is hosting a talent show. And the MKE women, they do a song where they basically say that all men at this fraternity are rapists. And I mean, I get why they do it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. And people really said like, they're like, oh, you're even now. Like you really showed him.
But he raped her. That he doesn't. She doesn't win.
Yeah, we need.
She
Like,
lost because no one believed her. Like,
I just wanted to see like real justice happen to the guy too, but like you don't really see what happened. I guess he got, spoiler for the end, he gets burned alive. But like,
yeah.
I wanted to see her like really beat the shit out of the dude. But
anyway, well, this is a slasher film.
Yeah.
So sorority girls are being killed one by one.
Mm-hmm.
Who did you think the killer was?
I didn't think it was the. I thought like I'm not gonna lie. I had a feeling it was the entire frat.
I was hoping it was a woman because I think it would have actually done. I thought then you could have at least said, "Oh," because there was a line that the professor said he raised. It was a very misogynistic line, but it was by a female writer. So I thought it would have been really kind of ironic, and then the movie could have been seen in a better light if it was a woman. But whatever, I didn't know who it was. I didn't call it. So the next night, the MKE sorority is attacked, and there's only 4 girls left, and Jesse and Marty get killed with a group of by the frat brothers, as Xavier said. Chris and Riley manage to escape. Riley goes to the frat house and is captured, and Chris goes to help another sorority, which takes us to our kind of climax of the film. Riley awakens only to be found facing the bust of the founder. Apparently, he's still alive in the bust, and he had a backup plan in case women ever actually decided to get power, and his plan was to kill them all.
Black magic too.
By killing, by using male superhuman men.
You know what's a good idea? Whenever I feel like I really don't want women to get in power, how about I sell my soul to the devil and put my soul into a bus, and then after that, because I want women to stand beside me, I'm going to kill all of them. That is a great plan. Said no one ever.
No one. Not one person. Does this makes no sense to you?
No.
My answer is, huh?
Well, let's explain why it doesn't make sense. So one of the girls that ends up kind of missing. What's her name?
So Helena, one of the sorority sisters, she, at the beginning of the film, almost gets raped, I'm going to say, by the boyfriend. And I thought it was legitimate until the end of the movie. She gets saved by Riley and then later gets abducted, which I don't understand why she's abducted if she's in on it from the beginning.
Yeah. But then I guess she gets adopted, goes missing.
But because she's a quote-unquote good girl, she gets spared from the killing. And she eventually convinces. She's the reason Riley gets abducted because she's like pretends to be captured. I don't know. Yeah. I don't really understand it because if she's in on it, why is she abducted? Why doesn't she just go home with her mom?
Yeah.
Like why is she even there?
I don't know.
And then the craziest thing, so in order, they want to get Riley to bow down to the founder.
Which
so
doesn't make sense since he never would.
Exactly. That you absolutely said it. But in order to try to prove the power of the founder over her, they kill Helena. Which doesn't make any sense because she was loyal.
Yeah, so I guess maybe it's trying to really paint men as evil by saying even if you're obedient, they're still going to take advantage of you and treat you like garbage. But
I don't understand. Like, if you're Riley and you just killed someone that was loyal to you, why would I bow down to you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Where the movie fails, it tries to convince Riley to join.
Yeah.
And what I really don't understand about this sequence is the person who is accused of raping her, Brian, he keeps saying, like, you ruined my life. You lied about what happened. At this point, why does it matter? Why don't you just be honest about it and be like, yeah, I raped you. Like, like own it. I don't understand that aspect to it.
I don't know whether at that point of him saying that I guess
like just admit it. That why don't you just
lie in front of it? But I guess maybe he thinks murdering people is a better thing to be in trouble for than which both acts are the most despicable thing a human can do. But
I don't know. I don't understand why they give Riley a choice to be spared anyway. It does not make any sense to me. The motive is all off.
Yeah.
And none of this movie really makes sense. So after she pretends to bow, she goes to try to, she does something to his face, cuts his face with something, and then she's going to die. But just before she dies, all the women Chris saved from the other sorority come in, and they fight these superhuman men and beat them.
Yeah.
And then luckily, whatchamacallit, Riley's able to destroy the bust of the founder, and the girls lock them into a room and set the house on fire and kill them all.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Okay. Thank God it's over.
That was my thought. I just if I had a closing statement with this, this movie is so divisive. I just gotta say it again because it doesn't promote equality. It's not good. Every male character is there's no good male character in this movie.
What about the guy that kind of likes her?
Yeah, well, he turns at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he gets possessed. So.
Oh, possessed.
By the demon.
Mm-hmm. So men are weak and they are easily possessed. So are all the men off the hook then that they're possessed?
I don't know.
I don't understand that. Why?
Some of them don't seem possessed.
You killed,
some of them just seem
but you killed every man in that sorority. So if you're saying this one man gets off the hook, what about all the other men that were in the sorority? That were possessed. It doesn't make any sense. The characters make no sense. The plot makes no sense. This is easily one of the worst films ever made. And I have no questions. Do you have a question?
I have a question. Why was this made?
I'm sorry, guys. I know if you're listening, I don't have a lot to say about this film. I didn't like it. It's stupid. Yeah. And maybe I missed the point. Maybe someone can write a response and tell me where I missed it. I don't understand. I don't think all men are evil. I don't think all women are evil. I think there are bad men and there are bad women.
There's bad old people, bad young people, bad black people, bad white people, bad Muslims, bad Christians.
Yeah, I agree.
It's how you treat people, right? It's so sad.
Just to go back to Jumanji, right? Why can't we have fun when we're watching movies? This movie, I mean, it's got a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's still worse than Jumanji. But just to me, the difference, let's have fun when we're watching movies. I don't know. I think that we should be trying to build people together, and maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're definitely wrong.
What are you giving this movie out of 10?
I think it's a 0. No redeeming qualities.
Can you give a movie? Is it even possible to give a movie a 0?
Yeah, it is. I just did it.
I'm going with a 1, but because it's unwatchable. I could never watch this again. But I don't know.
This is unwatchable 5 minutes in. I've never seen that in a movie where I'm just
I wouldn't say 5 minutes in because the first the first scene that we didn't really talk about, Lindsay getting killed. I like that scene.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then even really, it wasn't up. It was slow a lot of the ways. Don't get me wrong, but where I really thought the movie fell off was kind of. Not the song even. After the song, I was still okay with it because they didn't portray every male. Maybe when the boyfriend,
I'll tell you what, into the fight
when Marty got in the fight with the boyfriend, because the boyfriend was just disagreeing with her and didn't want to be called a rapist, and they agreed
up on him and then
they just because he wasn't even vindictive or vicious about it.
Yeah.
But they just because I have a different opinion, I make a good point. She kicked him out of the house and I don't want to see you anymore.
Yeah, we're done.
Because of that, I think that's when I cut off. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, but I didn't like the ending. There's nothing I liked about the movie. 1 out of 10. Mm-hmm. All right. Are you done with this? Can we stop talking about this stupid movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Anyways, let's move on to recasting. There's something more fun because The Matrix is a fun movie. Now, I would never want them to recast The Matrix, actually. And I don't know about you, but I had some issues recasting The Matrix.
So did I. Mine's going to be controversial.
And yours are now. Just so we're clear on this, this was your idea.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm cool with it because I had fun doing it, even though it took me some time. So let's start with Tank and Dozer, sorry, the brothers.
I was gonna start the Oracle.
You want to start?
Least major character, then we'll go.
Well, the Oracle was in all 3 movies. Tank and Dozer was in 1. That's why I went that way.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that then.
We didn't recast Mouse. Our producer Dave, in case you didn't hear us, asked us what about Mouse. We didn't do Mouse or Switch.
So I did Mouse. Michael Cera.
So that's actually a good casting. Yeah, so Dave has Mouse cast as Michael Cera. So that's a good one. We like that. All right, so you want to do the Oracle first then?
Yeah, let's do the Oracle.
So for the Oracle, Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
So in the original, the first Matrix, because Gloria Foster died in between the first and the second. Oracle is someone who's clairvoyant. She's soft-spoken. She's very motherly, right? She's making cookies. She's in her 60s or 70s, and she delivers the best line of the first movie. There is no spoon. At least in my opinion. So I have cast Felicia Rashad as the Oracle.
Who's that?
She is Miss Huxtable herself. The Cosby Show. The mom from The Cosby Show. She's the right age, and I can totally see, if you've ever watched The Cosby Show, she is that bright light, that just motherly figure that I could definitely see being in that scene in the Oracle, for the Oracle.
All right, mine's a little bit different. I changed it up a little bit. Mine is Octavia Spencer. I decided to go with her. She's a little bit younger, but I think she could put the gray hair in and make her look a little bit older.
Oh yeah.
She has the range for it, so I went with her. I felt like she was a good choice.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you,
Dave. Who do you have for your?
Viola Davis.
That was my second choice.
I think Viola Davis isn't Viola Davis is more of a hard ass. I don't know if she's got that motherly feel. That's the one thing I thought of Viola Davis. She's the right age. She's a great actress, but I feel like she's think of this scene, right? Neo goes into the Oracle. He's very confused, and you have this woman. She's baking cookies. She's taking care of him. Viola Davis, did you see Viola Davis doing that? Viola Davis,
I think she has the range for it.
She's a great actress. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I like that. I think I'm more of a motherly figure.
Because you're just more used to her other face that her other roles kind of contradict. But like we said, I never thought Joe Pesci would be the calm one.
That's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. So Tank and Dozer, you go first on Tank and Dozer.
Okay. So for Tank and Dozer, I'm not gonna lie. I forget which one's the older one, but I did more of them closer to maybe the same age. So for Tank, I did Chadwick Boseman.
It's a waste of a great actor.
I know. But I figured, you know what? Let's go big and go home. Because you know who I have as Dozer? Michael B. Jordan. Just the form of brotherly love, put them together. I was thinking Dozer's the one that dies, right?
Yep.
I was thinking Dozer. I was thinking Terry Crews, but I'm like, I don't know if he can do serious, how good he is in serious roles, right? That's what I was thinking, but yeah, I was like, you know what, Michael B. Jordan.
So the brothers are both operators, right? Tank pretends he's got these muscles, even though Tank has muscles, but Dozer's got some muscles too. They're both real humans. Tank's more enthusiastic, right? He's the one who trains Neo. When I think of that kind of character, big muscles, enthusiasm, I think Terry Crews. Terry Crews in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that is the person I see as Tank.
I haven't seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so we all were thinking Terry Crews, but
in Dozer, we don't get a lot of Dozer in the Matrix. He's more serious, right? He's kind of like the food. I think of the food sequence with him. So when I think of that more serious but still got some muscle on him, I think of Winston Duke.
Who's that?
Oh, come on. Black Panther.
He's the other one.
Us?
He's us, the dad.
The dad, Black Panther.
I can't say. I know his thing. They don't say his name. M'Baku.
I love me some M'Baku.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because in Marvel he's called Manape, so I keep forgetting that it's called M'Baku there.
Dave, who do you got for those two?
So for Tank, Michael Penta.
So Michael Penta for Tank.
And then for Dozer, Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson for Dozer.
Or Terry Crews.
Or
yeah.
We all think of Terry Crews.
Too, yeah, so Terry Crews is the choice.
You guys went for some big names. You went for some big names. That's good. All right. So let's go Cypher next.
Cypher, okay.
So Cypher was the betrayer, right? He is not much. There's not much with him, right? He despised reality, like the real world, not like the Matrix world. He says things like, "Why oh why didn't I take the blue pill?" Right?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of regret in him. When he's having steak with Agent Smith, he says ignorance is bliss, right? He wants to be put back into the Matrix. He doesn't believe Morpheus. He says what a mind job to him, right? Yeah. When he says like he wants you to be he tells you he tells you that you're the one. What a mind job. So when I thought of that, I think I had the most trouble with Cypher because you got to think of someone who's a little bit sneaky, right? And the character I thought of Patrick Dempsey. Patrick Dempsey is Dr. McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy, but he's also the human villain in the third Transformer movie, right?
Oh, okay.
Kind of like that. I'm working with the other side, but I'm not I shouldn't be.
Okay.
So I think of that. He's got the attractiveness, but he's like really a dick in real life. Even like in kind of Grey's Anatomy, he's very selfish. Like I need to be like the best me kind of thing.
I've never seen Grey's Anatomy. So
neither have I really. I just know from some previews.
Okay.
Xavier, who do you have for your Cypher?
Mine's Bias.
Oh, I know. Can I say it?
Who?
Is it a guy from? Oh wait, is he the Punisher?
Yeah.
Oh,
how'd you know it was gonna be him?
Because you said you're biased.
Yeah, John Berthel. I was gonna throw him in here. Like I said, I think in the interesting take, Cypher was sneaky, but I think he can have some simmering anger to him. I'm going a different like you take. It's a recast, but it's also a remake. So add some more anger to it. Some simmering anger, and some like why didn't I take the blue pill? Instead of being I really wish I took the blue pill. Like that. Have some of that. Make a little. Who knows? It could work. Or I can make the worst movie of all time.
Yeah, I'm going with the latter with that.
So here we go. That's what I did.
Dave, who do you got for your Cypher?
Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker. So he is, for those of you who do you know where he's from?
No.
He is Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, also in The Walking Dead with your boy.
John, I never watched Walking Dead.
Oh.
The first.
How do you not? You need to watch the first two seasons of Walking Dead. That's where your boy made his name for himself.
I said Punisher's where I first saw him, and then after that I started noticing him and everything. He's in Wolf of Wall Street too.
Yes, he is. All right, Xavier, tell us about your Agent Smith.
My Agent Smith. This one was really hard for me because you need him to be like a kind of age, but he has to be tactical, but also kind of good in kung fu as well. For me, I picked Christoph Waltz.
It's too old.
The reason why is I thought, listen, he has the good medicine, the good medicine face villain, very crafty with his words and everything like that, and just has such a nice dead stare. So,
Agents Hugo Weaving was only 38 or 39 years old when he played Agent Smith in the first movie.
Yeah.
I thought, when I think of Agent Smith, I think antagonist.
Yeah.
Someone who can play the villain well. Someone who loves to be hated. Right? And I mean, that's something that Hugo Weaving's really known for anyway. He's famous for his speeches, right? I always think of like the humans or the viruses, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that speech or the Mr. Anderson kind of thing.
Mr. Anderson.
He hates the Matrix. He hates humans, right? He's he doesn't have a home kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
He hates everyone. He's got some brute force and a lot of rage. When I think of someone who has no home, someone who's really good at speeches, someone who has some rage, I think Loki. And I think Tom Hiddleston is the right character to play an Agent Smith.
Wow, that's actually good. Good job. It's better than mine.
I really
I'll admit that.
I thought of that and I'm like, I think he would fit nicely. I really do. I think he's got.
That's a good one. That's
like, I mean,
really
think
good.
of like the speeches he gives as Loki. Like, he's full of it. Like,
Yeah.
he's trying to give his speech to the Hulk, and Hulk just grabs him and just throws him around. Puny God. Like, it's just you quivering Quim. I feel like he could do a good job.
No, that's good. That's better than mine.
Dave, who do you got?
Titus Welliver.
I don't know who that is. Who Titus?
I know who he is. I'll check the screen.
I still don't know who that is.
What films was he in?
Yeah, well, Dave's showing us Titus Welliver, And I'm gonna be honest. I am unsure of who he is. So Dave's gonna give us.
He is from the town Argo, Transformers.
Transformers. Who's he in Transformers?
James. I couldn't tell you from Transformers. I don't remember from him.
I don't know,
He's
Dave.
been in Law and Order. He's been in.
Dave, I gotta tell you that this is.
Agents of Shield. He was in. Suits.
He's got to be a minor character in all of these, like a guest star.
Pictures.
He's got to be a guest star. I'm calling this. This is not a good one, Dave. I don't know who he is.
You know what? You'll do some research in the next episode. You'll tell me.
I will. I'll tell you if I liked them. All right, Xavier, tell us who your Trinity is.
My Trinity, Trinity before Morpheus, eh?
I think so. I think Morpheus is a bigger character.
I don't know. He's okay. Okay, no problem. My Trinity, I was thinking someone that fights, badass, knows action, can be a weakness to Neo. And I was thinking young Katniss, Jennifer Lawrence as Trinity. I thought
she's on the physique to be that person, to be the think of the scenes where she's like floated on the air, and do you think
I think she could do it.
I don't know.
Who do you have?
I got two.
Okay.
And I really struggled with this one because the character I want is too old. I really think Kristen Ritter would be really good at that kind of. You called her a badass, into the martial arts, motorcycle. Jessica Jones.
Oh.
She's got that look. She can pull off the sunglasses, the leather.
Yeah, but she's not a fighter, though.
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones, who's just lifting people up and throwing them.
You're right. She's not the one I want. I said the one I would have liked. The one I went with, the girl I went with Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley played Domino. She's been in Pirates and Jack
Domino?
Ryan. She played an assassin.
Oh, okay.
She got she could pull off the short hair. I could see her like she's got the more physique from what I could see. That's who I have as that. She's a badass. She can. You have to have a screen presence. J-Law has a screen presence, but I don't feel like J-Law
has way more screen presence than Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley's
not a great actress.
Yeah, bite your tongue. Keira Knightley's phenomenal.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Dave, who do you got?
So I had two.
You had two as well.
Evangeline Lilly from Lost.
Also, she's Wasp.
Yeah, Wasp.
Yeah, that's actually.
So Dave has Evangeline Lilly, the Wasp.
It's actually
good one.
Pretty good.
I looked at both of them. Both of them they're both older than Kristen Ritter is. So I like both of yours. I went with someone who's because again, Carrie-Anne Moss was in her early 30s when she did it, and I want to try to find someone that age. And I think Keira Knightley's good.
You don't have to get the same exact age.
You want to be around it because you want your leads to be around the same age, right? You don't want You don't want someone to be ridiculously old, and you have Christoph Waltz. If you have I want to think Christoph Waltz is 50 something.
Yeah.
So if your Neo is 30, that's a 20-year age range. It just won't. I don't cinematically. It's not gonna look as nice, is what I'm saying.
Great.
All right.
Oh, but it looked good in freaking Irishman.
If you
old ass Robert De Niro.
No, but they de-aged anyway. So
sorry, De Niro.
Morpheus. Hot take on Morpheus. I think all of us are gonna have the same character, even though I have two. But I'm gonna give you my second one after, because I went the safe one, but I also went outside the box because I like my outside the box one better. If we're being completely honest,
my Neo's outside the box.
So, Morpheus is your leader. He's wise. He's inspirational. He has a lot of faith. He's rational. He's tough. Lawrence Fishburne did a great job with those. Idris Elba could do that to a T. Heimdall, right? You think about that. Pacific Rim, we know he's tough. He's no stranger to action. He's cool. He's got the voice that can pull it off. He's inspirational. He's got everything you need.
That's a speech at the end of Pacific Rim.
Idris Elba can do anything. Let's be honest. Yeah. He could do anything.
Well, my Morpheus. Well, I decided to go with Terry Crews. Nah, I'm lying. It's Idris Elba. All the reasons you said. So, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even think of it. I was struggling with it, and then I was talking to my dad about it, and he's like, "You know what? Idris Elba would be pretty good." And I'm like, "Wow, you're right." Like, that's great. That's perfect. And then so, I could wish I said I thought of it, but my dad did. So.
Oh, I thought I was all over. That's the first person I casted.
Same.
Same. Dave is the same.
Second person I had there is Forrest.
Whitaker. Yeah, he's not.
He's a little older.
So
Still is not as agile.
So
Yeah.
I actually have another one.
Who's your other one?
So here's the thing. There's a character I can see being like Idris Elba is the character, let's be honest. But if you wanted to go a different way, I have someone that I thought would be the best Trinity. But she couldn't be Trinity. She's too old, but she's perfect, around the perfect age for Morpheus. And that's Charlize Theron.
Okay.
Charlize Theron, if you want to go with a woman Morpheus, there is no one better. She's a tough SOB. You've seen it many times, right? Mad Max, Aeon Flux, Atomic Blonde. Mm-hmm. She could definitely pull it off. And again, she would be if she was younger. She's 34. If she was like, sure, she's 44. If she was like 34, she'd be my Trinity.
Okay.
Again, I could just see her I could see her in that outfit, like just pulling off like that the overcoat.
Trinity.
Oh no, but even Morpheus. But I go in Idris. All right.
Mila Jovovich, but she's too old too.
Again, yeah. There's a lot of actresses I thought of for Trinity, and
I'm like, they're so old now.
I know.
Kira's
the next gen. She's the one. She's gonna be the one.
Next gen.
She's next gen.
It's not even tough. Like
watch Domino.
Yeah, watch Domino, but it's not a good actress, so there's that too.
Bite your tongue. All right, that takes us to the last one that we're gonna do. So tell us who your Neo is.
You can start. I don't know. You guys are gonna. This is my most controversial.
Well, think of what Neo is. He's soft spoken. He's a recluse, right? He lives on his own before he is out. He's out of the know on anything, right? He's like the last to know everything. He gains his surety as the movie goes on. He's definitely not a speaker, right? He's a quiet leader. He doesn't say 2 words if he doesn't need to. He can do an action sequence, and he shows little emotion. And that's got to be the key, I think. Because Keanu Reeves played Neo with, no emotion.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for in my Neo. So who's your Neo? Who's your no emotion?
It was hard for me, so I just went with somebody else. I went a completely different take, left turn.
This was easy for me. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I picked Henry Golden from
Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah, Crazy Rich Asians.
Nice, too charismatic.
I think he can play the role well, because I'm thinking you need him but he also needs to move and do kung fu and everything like that as well. And because of the movie, not the TV show, I watched him in Marco Polo. He can do the martial arts, so that's why it was hard. I struggled with this one because I'm like, everything you said plus martial arts, and I'm like, the martial arts is a big part of the component of the film, so I think I picked that over it.
I was really thinking of someone who's reclusive. I was really thinking of someone who's soft-spoken, who didn't say a lot. The quiet one, the out of the know
Mark Wahlberg.
That couldn't figure anything out. Someone who could do action, someone who had a little emotion. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to the MCU for this one. The Winter Soldier himself, Sebastian Stan, I think could do a really good job as Neo. I think he's got every characteristic, right? He's the quiet one to Captain America. He's the second in command. He is reclusive, right? He spends Civil War living on his own, right? He's definitely out of the know. He's definitely soft spoken. He has how many lines of dialogue does he have from Winter Soldier to Endgame? Think about it.
Not a lot.
Groot probably has more dialogue.
Physique for it. You're talking about the physique for Trinity.
What do you mean physique? He's the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, no, I meant he's too big. I think
you think he's too big? I don't think he's that big.
Yeah,
Chris Evans is bigger than he is.
Yeah, but he's still pretty big. He's bigger than Neo was.
Well, yeah, but not by that much. He's not ginormous. He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I don't know. I don't.
Really, I think he's a good choice. I mean,
I don't know if he can do the kung fu. He's more like an American wrestling style, boxing kind of style.
I mean, he kind of does a little bit of that as Winter Soldier. No,
not so much. I just remember him grabbing the shield. I gotta rewatch it.
Maybe rewatch it.
I think you're right with that.
Dave kind of agrees with me. Who did you have, Dave?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh,
Joseph Gordon. You know what? That's a good. Dave,
I think you have the best one.
Well,
that's one of them. I had another guy too, just because Jared Leto.
Nah, Jared.
No, but talking about the kung fu stuff, I can't see him doing the kung fu, but seeing him as the Joker, it's just I can see him maybe as a Neil, but that was my first one, Joseph.
I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt's probably the best choice.
He's a good choice.
I wish I thought of that, to be honest.
He's a good choice.
I like that a lot.
I think he could play it decently well.
Because
he might be a little bit too old to be him now, though.
How old is he now?
I don't know. That's a good question. I would say he's getting close to 40 if he's not 40 already. Because he was around in the 90s as a teenager.
Yeah, he's 5,000 days of summer, 500 days of summer.
But he was
81. He was born
81, 4 years older than me. So he is what, 39?
Yeah.
Or he'll be 39 next year.
Yeah.
So I think it's too old.
You can still kind of run. He's still 39. He can run.
I mean,
because sequels come out every 2 years, right?
37. So I'm not that much. No, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our recast of The Matrix. Feel free to criticize and give us some ideas because these are not hard. These are not as easy to do as you would think.
Yeah, it's fun. It's pretty.
And if you've got someone better, tell me all about it. I'm happy to add to the list. Anything else to speak, Xavier?
No, I'm good.
Well, I'm excited for next week because next week it's been Star Wars month, but next week is Star Wars week. So we will be talking about Star Wars and doing some Star Wars trivia, and maybe we'll fit another movie in if we got time.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Have a great week, guys.
All right. Take care.